Moving on to our political panel.
Beautiful,
as we tackle some of the other side of the aisle issues, and there are a lot of them, presidential candidate Carly Fiorina turned the table on Donald Trump's words, saying, quote, "Ladies, look at this face last night in Phoenix." Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was a direct aim at Trump's attack in Rolling Stone magazine this week. Trump said, "Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Can you imagine that? The face of our next president." I mean, she's a woman, and I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, come on, folks, are we serious? How could this fight change the GOP playing field? Here for a fair and balanced debate, Fox News contributor Angela Mcglowan and communications director Emily List Marcy Stetch. Thank you both for joining us. I very much appreciate it.
Great to be here.
All right, Angela, I want to start with you. I want to talk about not only the timing of this unprovoked hit at Carly Fiorina, but how she's handling it.
I think she's handling it with grace, and I really believe that Trump went after her as a woman. You know how we are. We care about how we look. We're very self-conscious because she's going to get him in the next debate. So he was trying to knock her off her game, but Donald Trump, it's not going to work. I want this debate to be about issues. I don't think Donald Trump talking about Carly Fiorina's face and then backtracking and changing it is going to make a difference. I think people are going to care about policy, not how people look.
All right, Marcy, do you think that? Do you think that his words were, unprovoked words, the timing of them? What do you think of them?
Well, look, I completely agree. These debates and this entire Republican primary should be about issues, but instead we're seeing every day new outrageous and offensive things coming out of Donald Trump's mouth, and we've seen several Republican candidates try to tear him down, try to come back after him. I think that it's unfortunate. I kind of feel bad. It's not often that I feel bad for Republicans and Republican operatives and Republican primaries, but I do kind of feel bad for everyone. This really should be about issues, and it should not be about a politician's looks. It
a compassionate liberal.
Things. I know.
Yeah.
But, I will say when we do talk about issues, we know that Donald Trump exists because there is a space for his outrageous and bombastic policy positions. And if we do want to actually talk about those, every single Republican is the same, including Carly Fiorina.
When you look at what's going on, though, in the polls, and it's interesting how people are reacting to Donald Trump, and a lot of folks will tell you right now, it's not so important where you are in the polls right now as it is important where your favorables and unfavorables are. And as we look at that right now, Donald Trump has the largest spread between favorable and unfavorable. 60% have a favorable rating. 35% have an unfavorable rating. Pretty much everybody has an opinion. Then all of a sudden you look at somebody like Ben Carson, who's number 2 in Iowa, 79% favorable. So the question, Angela, is, does that matter more right now, how likable someone is, or for that matter, how not unlikable they are? Or is the poll standings more important?
Likability. There are 3 things that are very important in a campaign. Number 1, name ID, Trump has it. Number 2, money, Trump has it. And likability. But I do not believe he's going to be our nominee. I think he's going to have a Howard Dean moment that's just going to tear him down. Right now, he's rising up because it's the anti-politician political season. But I don't think that's going to last.
Speaking of that, we want to take a live look back in Boone, Iowa right now. Donald Trump is there giving a press avail. We'll see if he talks about any of those policy questions Marcy mentioned.
I have nothing against him. Actually, I supported him with his medical. Maybe that's what he should focus on, his medical.
He said it's time to go to combat.
With who?
Rand Paul said it's time to go to combat.
He's a very ineffective guy. Rand is weak on immigration. He's weak on the military. He's got no chance. He's down so low with his polls. He's got no chance. But, he was very nice to me. And then all of a sudden, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, he started attacking me, just like Perry did. Just like Senator Lindsey Graham did, who's down to almost 0. They all attacked me, and so far everybody that's attacked me, including Jeb Bush. I mean, Jeb Bush, when he started, was at 18. Now he's at 7 and 8. Now, I don't know if that's because of me, but it certainly seems to be unlucky to attack me.
What do you think goes up when she attacks you?
Oh, I think they're going to do. Look, they've raised a lot of money. The money has been given by hedge fund people, by special interests. All these people, they don't want to see Trump because They don't care about the country, they care about themselves. I care about the country. I don't have any of their money, and by the way, I could have so much, I could have hundreds of millions of dollars of special interest and lobbyist money within 2 weeks if I wanted it. I don't want it.
What's your takeaway of the Iowa Quinnipiac poll showing you and Carson running 1-2? What does that say about?
Well, it says, I mean, pretty much it says that they're looking for an outsider. I mean, it does say that. There's no question about it.
Thanks for your time.
Okay? Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Donald Trump saying goodbye after his press availability, as we just lost the signal there from Boone, Iowa. Interestingly enough, wearing a camouflaged Make America Great hat again. I had yet to see that one as well. And he made a very important point when he said, obviously, they are looking for outsiders. We're talking about him and Ben Carson being 1 and 2 there in the poll in Iowa.
Yeah, and if we could bring back Angela and Marcy, I want to get your reaction. Angela, what did you think about him saying that the polls show, obviously, voters are looking for an outsider when someone asked, you know, the hypothetical ticket of Carson and Donald Trump?
People are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we had, what, Obama, very flowery, great orator, but what did he do for us? Broken promises. Donald Trump is successful, and I think that's why people are supporting him, because he gets the job done. I still don't think, though, he's going to be the nominee. Something has got to come down.
Marcy, are Democrats yet planning for the eventuality of a possible Donald Trump nominee as president, in the sense that he said something very interesting there? He said, everybody that has attacked me has gone down. It seems like what Donald Trump said, what anybody says to Donald Trump bounces off Donald Trump and comes back at them, as my mother used to say about insults in the playground. Are Democrats worried about that?
Well, look, you know, I think every day we see a new Republican who will run onto Donald Trump's lawn and throw stones at his window in hopes and, you know, run back into the bushes in hopes that it'll have some sort of effect. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is actually the only relevance that the rest of the candidates have at this moment, because Donald Trump has such a loud megaphone and he is the story. He has the support in the polls and across the country. So they have to play on his turf.
But Ben Carson is not insulting Donald Trump. He said a couple of things, but he's talking about policy. Carly Fiorina, she said a couple of things about Donald Trump, but she's talking about policy. So the more these candidates can talk about policy and not give Donald Trump the platform, the better off they will be. They've made Donald Trump
talking about sound bites. They're not actually talking about policies. This is the best way for Ben Carson and Carly Fiorina to raise money. That's the bottom line here. So I'm just sitting back. You know, the question was, you know, are we planning for an eventual Donald Trump as a nominee? At the end of the day, it's very likely he could be the nominee. But right now, the Republicans have to deal with him at this point.
All right. Well, and I want to continue on that theme. But Angela, I want to toss it to you, because in 2012, we were talking about Governor Rick Perry. He was had higher numbers than Donald Trump, and we saw him this week drop out of the race. So what would the landscape look like if it was not a Donald Trump ticket?
I don't think that. I think Rick Perry during 2012 ruined himself when Ron Paul had to tell him about his policy. He forgot about that, and I think the controversy with him and Herman Cain actually caused problems. So Rick Perry was doomed from the start.
All right, Marcy, what do you think?
I mean, I was a little sad to see Rick Perry drop out. I mean, that guy's been running for president for the last couple of years. And, you know, I think it speaks a lot to the power of outside money. Rick Perry was banking on a bunch of billionaires and millionaires to help him rise to the top. And I think this goes to the fact that he just didn't have the grassroots support. Donald Trump seems to have that grassroots support right now. And I think that's just the effect of having 17 candidates in the primary right now.
Okay, last question, Angela. 17 candidates. Who do you think is going to be dropping out next?
Well, you know, I think with that first tier, we can look at Santorum, who I like. We can also look at Gilmore, who I like. I wish that we could put all of them on the same stage.
Excellent.
But yeah, you know, money, it takes money.
Absolutely. Well, and it's a long race, so we have more than a year before the actual election. So a lot more headlines to make. Angela and Marcy, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.